Hello there. Welcome back to Broyhill on Aviation Leadership. This week we're doing episode number 6 of the Leadership Traits series, the attribute of advocacy, which we will explore in the next few slides. You may have noticed that I'm using a new camera for this series. Hopefully the glow from my forecranium will not be quite as pronounced and the lighting will be better. We'll have to wait and see. Please feel free to comment. On with the show. So as you might expect, the definition of advocacy is pretty straightforward. It's simply the act or process of supporting a cause or a proposal, the act or process of advocating something. Makes sense, right? But of course, there's more. So what does advocacy look like in the workplace? According to Laura Stack, writing for Talent and HR magazine, the real test of a leader is the willingness to fight for his or her team. Your team members, she says, may not expect you to fight for them in any sense. Most of us have seen too many self-serving CYA maneuvers, and everybody knows what CYA means, right? Over the years to really be surprised when the leader slinks off into every man for himself's territory. So why not surprise them by facing your in-house rivals like a team player? Leaders should present their needs forthrightly and clearly to the echelons above. Make it clear that while the leader is still a team player, he or she is prepared to move around the bureaucracy and stand up for his or her people. Have the courage to take one for the team if necessary. Now, we don't go into the individual venues in which this attribute is expressed other than my own in this slide presentation, but I will tell you that in the book, Business Aviation Leadership from the Traits to the Trenches, which you saw at the beginning of this presentation, which you'll see at the end, there's some good stories of advocacy in the book in which some people did, in fact, actually have to take one for the team. Pretty amazing courage when that sort of thing has to occur. So let's look at the stats. For the research, I defined advocacy very similarly to the way that Laura Stack did. Isn't afraid to stand up to those above. You can see that it was rated pretty highly. The overall mean was 6.04. The leaders rated it at 5.96. The followers at 6.12. And the value of F very low, so the leaders and the followers seem to have it in alignment. From a rating perspective, a 1 to 3 rating perspective though, just a little bit of a disparity there. The leaders rated at 8th after vision and transparency. The followers rated at 5 after credibility. So similar to last week's anecdote, I'm not going to talk about something I did, either for better or for worse. I'm going to talk about something I witnessed. In fact, witnessed several times over the course of these last few years. I have gotten involved into aviation compensation analysis. I developed a proprietary way in which to combine data from multiple surveys and give clients a very reliable look at what pay rates and ranges should be for various positions, aircraft, locations. I've done this analysis for over 30 different flight departments. Sometimes I've been hired by the aviation director or the aviation manager of the department. A few times I've been hired by the people under whom the department comes, or I should say the reporting executive that's in charge of the department. But the interesting thing about that is the advocacy I have seen from aviation leaders when it comes to tackling this very difficult subject for their people has been absolutely awe-inspiring. Even more so, usually the compensation analysis includes me analyzing the actual aviation manager's compensation as well. And on several occasions he said no, or she said no, don't include me in this. This is for my people, it's not for me. And having a conversation about compensation with a superior can be a very hazard-fraught process. And if you buy a copy of the book and you go to the chapter on advocacy, you'll see a vignette about a young man who argued for better compensation on the part of his people. And the first time he did it, his supervisors told him to go away. The second time he did it, his supervisors fired him. So this is not a conversation, and it's not an area that comes without risk or hazard to the person making the argument. But in every single case, these aviation managers were willing to go to the mat. They were willing to risk whatever it took to get better compensation for their people, not just for a monetary perspective or a material one, but they wanted their people to feel that appreciation the company had for them by paying them fairly, and they were willing to risk everything and go have frank conversations, not just with their supervisors, but with the HR complex and the compensation people inside the company. It's been an honor for me to be part of that process and to help these young men and women do the right thing for their people. But it's just been an absolutely awe-inspiring show of advocacy to see the way these men and women have gone to bat for their people and have not backed down or flinched one iota. It's been outstanding. This is one of the things I think that makes our industry great, is the quality of leadership we see from people like this, and leadership in the form of advocacy. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Leadership Traits series. Next week, we'll be examining the leadership attribute of transparency, kind of related to advocacy, but just a little bit different. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of the new episodes on this channel, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button down there at the bottom, and that way you'll get a little notice on your phone or your device or what have you when new episodes are available. In the meantime, if you want more color, you want more background on not only the traits, but the way in which they're manifested, you can buy the book, Business Aviation, From the Traits to the Trenches. Lots of examples from really powerful leaders in our industry about how they tackled the tasks they had to and manifested the attributes that we're going to discuss in this series. So, for next week, or in the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of you and yours, and tailwinds.